Hey, what's up? It's me. I'm in the podcast. I just got off work and I'm getting ready for bed. About to get in the shower. Don't worry, this isn't the show. This is just before you get into this, just letting everybody know out there. This is part of the lost episodes of LTYF. What does that mean? Well, fucking listen to what I'm going to say. Something went wrong. The audio went wrong with somebody's microphone. Something else happened. I mean, who knows? You're just going to have to find out. Someone did die. On mic. Hot mic murder. Death, not murder. But there's a lot of good stuff in this episode. And I need you guys to really, just listen to it. Because it's good. Daniel is on this episode. Looking forward to some other people. Josh Williamson, Nathan Hale. I mean, the list really goes on and on forever. But pandemic, babies, fire, all of these things have been mixed into the scenario where we really haven't had a chance to really spread our wings. But don't worry, because this is just the beginning. Alright? There's going to be a fuck lot more stuff to look forward to. The next episode, we got new segments, bringing in new shit, new heat, new excitement. Obviously, me and Vince will be there, most likely. But check it out. Email us at ltyfers. That's ltyfers at gmail.com. Just fucking write us. Say whatever you want to say. If you want me to read something on the podcast, if you want me to say your name or not, whatever. Anything, even if it's hateful, I'll read it, and you can get a smile out of it. I'll do it for you. Anyways, check it out. I love you. Okay, bye. Welcome back, guys and girls and they and them and
What's up, Kings?
what's up? This is listen to your friends if you didn't know.
That's something I'm trying to make okay for everyone to say now. I feel like a lot of black
Kings?
people have been starting to call each other king and queen. Like, yes,
That's always
queen.
been a thing.
So, do you think
Yeah.
that would be
I just had this conversation with you.
really?
That's always
Do you think
been
it would be weird for me, just like a black person that I don't know, like is delivering something to me at the school, and I'm just like, "What's up, king?"
Oh, you've
like-
been saying it.
Do you think that would make them feel weird or uncomfortable or offended?
I think for sure they do.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't think that I wouldn't go the route.
Thing, it's not.
Is it?
a thing? Yeah.
I didn't know. That's what I'm wondering. Like,
Yeah,
I want to
don't
know if it
do
is like
that.
if that's how they feel about it. If they're like, it's our thing. Like, we only can call each other king. Like, you can't call us that.
I definitely wouldn't do it, but if you're confident enough to do it and they sense that you're cool about it or you're being funny.
I just
or-
like the way it sounds. I've been saying it to everybody. Like at work, I'm just like, "What's
if you
up,
say
king?"
it to everybody, it's okay.
Yeah.
I haven't said it to a black person yet though, because I'm just
Okay.
like, I don't know
Yeah.
how it's gonna be.
But I've never heard anybody say black king before.
Black king?
Or like, how they say like, oh, she's a black queen.
Okay.
Or like,
Yeah.
What about King James
Yeah.
and
Or like Nasir,
like
Nas.
LeBron?
Oh, King James.
They all go by, like UFC fighters that are black, they go by King something something or
Isn't King James literally just a play on King James?
I mean, I don't think that's
I don't
where
know.
he was going with it. I don't think that, but that, yeah, there was a King James, of course.
I actually never put that together. I was
They've
just like,
done
it's
that-
LeBron
they've
James.
done-
He's the king
black
of
people have
basketball.
done that for a long time.
Was a black queen? It's a Tupac.
Yeah.
There's a show called Two Dope Queens, and it's two black goyles doing funny stuff. And
I asked Reddit. I posted on a couple subreddits. I was like, black people, would you feel uncomfortable or offended if a white person in passing were to call you king or queen? And of course, I didn't get any good responses. Just a bunch of white people on Reddit being that's cringy. Why would you ever say that anyway? Or like, why you would only say that to a preschooler? Or like, what are they the ruling monarch of that you would call them king or queen? I'm like, my heart? I don't fucking know. Like, it's like to me, it's like saying what's up, boss? What's up, boss man?
Yes,
what's up, chief? Like, what? How is there any difference there?
So when you said "What's up, Kings" at the beginning of the podcast, I didn't think anything about it because I've never heard anyone say that before.
Yeah.
I've heard people called queens before.
Yeah.
But never.
So you know what, in my opinion, is 10 times more offensive than calling a black person king or
I think I
woman
know.
queen?
I think I know, but
is when someone
okay.
calls you buddy.
Yeah, buddy's not
fucking
fun.
hate it, dude.
I don't like that either.
I'd rather be called cracker, honky, howly, gringo than buddy.
You got a lot of them. One of those I don't think I've ever heard before.
I would rather be
What
called
was after
any one of
honky? What'd you
those.
say? Howley?
Howley?
Hawaiian.
Howley? That's what they call white people?
A mainlander.
Oh, I
Fucking
never heard
howlies.
that. Okay.
But no, when a guy,
Hey,
I
buddy.
mean, if a guy calls me buddy that I don't know, I'm like, stop speaking to me right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk away from
The
this.
thing is that they have to not be familiar to you. And if they call you buddy, then it's just like demeaning.
But when someone's like, hey, buddy,
Yeah.
I'm like, go fuck your mother. Like right away. Go fist her. Go home and do it. But buddy just sticks me a little bit.
Things like there's a few things that are like on that level. It's like buddy, pal, chief,
Yeah.
Sport.
Sport is like that. If anyone ever called me sport, I'd be like, what the fuck?
If someone called me sport, I'd be like, I'm 30 years old.
Yeah.
Like, what am I, a child?
You have a baseball cap on?
Hey,
like,
squirt.
Yeah. I called Jennifer Squirt and she loves it. Well, I'm gonna be careful about calling people king. Then I'm not just gonna call the FedEx guy king. Like,
Yeah, I'm just telling you right now that.
But I
want to
get some. I want to get some responses from black people, like, because you see the shit on Twitter and social media all the time, like "Go King." I'm like, yes, King, shit like that. Like,
that's so weird. I've never seen that.
on NBA Twitter, like Ja Morant has a good game, and every other point guard in the league is just like King, and then tags his name.
Yeah.
But I like the way it sounds as far as just saying, like, because I always call everyone boss. Like at work, I'm like, what's up, boss? No matter who it is. Hey, boss. But I just changed it to king. And no one has given me a weird response yet. But I could just see someone being like, the fuck? Why would you say that?
But it's only been non-black people,
Right, yeah.
Yeah, you might.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. Try a black one.
It's going to happen eventually.
I think it's not going to be any men that have a problem with it. I think it's going to be women if you call them queen.
Call him queen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to mention, I'm Justin Burt, and we have Daniel Gilbertson here again.
We're not doing me. I'm always here.
One day we should have an episode where we're both not here. And it's just
how
like
would that
Daniel and Chris and someone else.
That'd be fun.
Awesome.
That'd be fun for you to edit that one. You'd not have any idea what you were getting into.
Dude, I'm telling you, when I edit, sometimes it's hard to edit the episodes because sometimes I just don't want to hear myself talk.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big hurdle to get over.
Every time I listen to an episode, I can't stand it.
But what's funny is when I'm editing, the only time I laugh, because I laugh out loud a lot while I'm editing, because I sort of forget what was said.
Yeah.
And it sort of hits me by surprise. But the only time I ever really laugh is from what you say or whoever else is on. Never at what I say. I'm just like, oh, you suck.
Yeah, hearing myself is horrible.
This podcast it definitely cracks me up. But then I'm always thinking, is it because I like them and we're friends?
I don't know. I mean, that's odd.
Saying is funny. I can't. It's like I cannot discern.
Can't separate yourself from it.
Because it's like, I don't know. You guys, we all like kind of have similar humors too. So it's like, I of course am gonna laugh at all the weird jokes that you guys are making.
Yeah.
I definitely think that there's plenty of people that won't find our senses of humor funny.
There's definitely a lot of people that will, though.
But there's definitely a lot of people that will, and fuck it, like if it's a niche sort of thing, like I'm fine with that.
There's
like,
some things that I've heard on the podcast that I'm like, okay, that's just objectively funny. I don't care who you are. Like, that's a funny thing that I just heard.
The best example to me is I'm like, I don't know who wouldn't find this funny, but the the robotic Boston
Yeah.
when you guys were doing
That was funny.
Stick, I was like,
Or like Jack.
really dying laughing.
When Jack was on and doing like the David Attenborough impression, or like
Just
the Bernie Sanders
perfect-
impression,
the
I was like,
most perfect
dude, this is just
impression you could ever
objectively
do.
funny to hear someone doing this. It sounds really funny.
He did do a really good Attenborough.
That was so good, dude.
And like I said this before, so I won't repeat myself too much, but like people will ask like, oh, what's your podcast about? And I'm like, oh, they must not listen to a lot of podcasts, because a lot of like the most popular podcasts are usually comedic ones. And out of those most popular comedic podcasts, they don't have like a thing that they
Right.
do. It just goes wherever it goes.
Like, what's the guy's name with Brett Kreischer or whatever?
Oh, Tom Segura,
Yeah.
and Bert, Two Bears, One Cave.
Yeah,
They
like
do that.
they just spent like 15 minutes dying about how Bert just drinks a gallon of Kool-Aid every day.
Yes, you're listening to that. That's
And
great.
dude, and fucking, I
They're just
already
fucking
forgot his
being
name.
dumb,
Tom
and people love
Segura
it.
just cannot fucking keep cool over the fact that Bert drinks a fucking gallon of Kool-Aid every day. He is just cry laughing about it. Like, they're not talking about anything in particular. They're just being funny.
Exactly. And I mean, even Joe Rogan, like, if he's not having on someone of a specific career path, where obviously they're going to talk about that thing that they do.
Right.
A lot of his ones are just people on that he knows or is friends with, and it just goes wherever it goes. And that's sort of like, I do my best to have things prepared to talk about to give us some base. But I mean, we're no different than a lot of the other podcasts out there, you know, when it comes to that sort of thing. Like, we're not going to just talk about microbes, and we're just a podcast about microbes.
We
Like,
could do an episode.
When I first started listening to podcasts like a long time ago, when I was like sucking them down, like, by the hundreds.
You're driving 2 hours
Yeah,
to and from work every day.
It's like a soothing thing to listen to people, like, the term joshing around with wanting to like seem like a 90-year-old man.
90-year-old boy.
But like, it's just fun to listen to people like.
Yeah, it's sort of like you're in the room with them a little bit, you know? And that's why I love the name of our podcast, Listen to Your Friends, because like, even if maybe you are actually friends with us and you like listening to us because you know us, but all at the same time, like, the people that don't know us from Ireland, let's say, we have a lot of downloads in Ireland, they don't fucking know us, but it's sort of like, oh, let's see what those guys are up to this week, you know? It's just like sort of a nice, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I listen to a lot of basketball podcasts lately, and half the time I just have them on just to hear people talking in my ears. Like, I'm not even really listening or paying attention to what they're saying.
And every once in a while they get you're sort of zoning out. I'll be zoning out at work listening to a podcast, not even really, really paying attention, but then they'll say something where it's just like an uppercut to my funny bone. And it's like, oh, okay, that was pretty good.
Totally.
So,
how you gonna transition out of this one?
oh, what do you like to know? Hawaii.
What was the word you used earlier for white?
Howley.
For howley?
So, I really, really love history, which would piss off my high school history teacher that now I'm 30 and I actually like history.
Yeah.
But
I think
was
your high
thinking
school
it'd be
history
fun-
teacher would give a fuck if you care
Yeah, he
about history
probably
now.
wouldn't fucking remember me.
You just, how do you like me now? And he's just like, who are you?
Yeah.
How do you like me now? I'm balls deep into history, bro. He's just like, good for you.
It's like that. He's like, I'm not even a teacher anymore.
It's like, I can't even be next to the school.
Oh, I had that experience.
Yeah, what was the name of that teacher that
Seth MacFarlane.
when you went to Clear Creek?
Mr. McPartland.
Mr.
Mr.
McPartland,
McPartland in
yeah.
seventh
Shout out
grade.
to Mr. McPartland, you diddling motherfucker.
Yeah, he's... I wonder if anything happened to him in jail because he's a kid diddler.
You never know.
He might have been in protective custody for all I know. I never even met him.
He was a nice guy.
He was a
Well,
nice
too
boy.
nice.
I was supposed to be on his Oregon prep basketball team like a couple months before he got arrested.
I remember...
He was headhunting you.
Oh.
You're lucky.
I remember other...
He was getting the ambiance in the locker
Dude.
room. He had candles and shit.
Dude, he'd have been all over your abs.
Oh yeah.
But no, I thought it'd be cool to do a like today in history, because there's always an event every day that happened in history.
What's
And
today?
in
August
history,
21st.
the 50th state of Hawaii was founded.
Oh wow.
So I got some stuff. I have a lot of stuff, so I'll try to get into it.
I like how you have stuff written down on a notepad, but you're not using that. You're just using your phone.
This is just to remind me of what I wanted to talk about. I like having sheets of paper of everything rather than my phone.
Yeah.
I just like being able to hold it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But whatever, it's the future. So, today in history. That's my voice for this. The modern United States receives its crowning star when President Dwight D. Eisenhower signs a proclamation admitting Hawaii into the Union as the 50th state. I'm not going to keep talking like that.
Yeah, you don't have to.
The president also issued an order for the American flag featuring 50 stars arranged in staggered rows.
Smart.
The first known settlers of the Hawaiian Islands were Polynesian voyagers who arrived sometime in the 8th century, long time ago. In the early 18th century, American traders came to Hawaii to exploit the island's sandalwood.
Well, yeah, we're gonna exploit
They're
whatever
like,
you got.
we need sandals. People love sandals.
If they said they came for another reason, then they were lying.
Yeah.
I mean, they came for the chicks. And their
Them
grass
big ol'
skirts
women.
and their coconut bras. They're like, these bras are huge. That's a huge bitch.
Look at all these queens.
Y'all got an island of queens over here. In the 1830s, the sugar industry was introduced to Hawaii by the mid-19th
You're like getting back into that
century.
voice.
What?
You're getting back into that voice.
A nice transatlantic accent.
Yeah.
I have a trans accent?
Transatlantic. Yeah, the sugar industry.
Oh, you hit him with the left. Hit him with the right.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the Legend of Korra.
Yeah.
The Legend of Korra guy voice.
Totally. Yeah.
And American missionaries and planters brought about great changes in Hawaii.
Next time on Talk.
Political, culture, I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. Economic and religious life. In 1840, the constitutional monarchy was established, stripping the Hawaiian monarch of much of his authority. During World War II, Hawaii became firmly ensconced. That's a word. What does that mean?
Love that word.
I'm gonna assume it's like akin to intertangled.
Yeah.
I
Or like
it.
entrenched.
I like it. Ensconced in the American national identity following the surprise Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. So essentially, we absorbed them, but we didn't really see each other as being the same until Pearl Harbor, and then they were like,
I can see it.
you know, we gotcha, I guess. Well, that's the end of the initial history, and then after this, I just have facts. So you go ahead and go before I start with the facts.
Well, it's kind of off topic, but sort of on topic. Like, do you know what's up with like Guam and like Puerto Rico?
Well, I mean,
Something's
I know
going
that
on?
they're not like.
Aren't they American territory?
Yeah, but they're not states. I think it's a pretty complicated issue. I don't know if they like want to be states, but I think Puerto Rico does.
They
And I
want to
don't-
be a part of the United States?
I think because they're an American territory,
We own them.
but they don't. It's weird because
Oh
they
my
pay
God.
taxes, don't they? Like don't they pay federal tax as if they're a state?
There's so much going on under the
I
table.
swear that there's a phrase that people used to use in the U.S. about being taxed and not being represented.
Yeah, it's like the whole thing. It's like the whole reason we seceded.
I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, it's kind of a political problem right now, from what I understand, because they don't get all of the benefits that an actual state would get.
You're right.
But they do have to pay basically tribute in a way, like they pay tax.
They pay protection money.
Yeah.
But how many? I mean, how many?
We won't come in and
countries-
bust you up.
Honestly, though, how many countries are going through that same exact situation with not only us, but like China, Britain, you know, whoever else, Russia?
I can't say for sure.
Where it's like, you're not in our family, but we make you.
Like, we
Clean
own
our
you.
rooms.
Yeah, we own you, but
Yeah.
we don't give you a lot of aid or anything.
That's tight.
So it's kind of off topic, but it's kind of similar.
Yeah, no, it's.
Is that what
ties
was
in.
going? That's not. Is that what's going on with Hawaii prior to, or were they? Because I see what you're saying about, like, it seems like what you're saying with Pearl Harbor was the event that made, like, mainland America be like, Hawaii is part of America. We care about them.
Mhm.
Whereas prior to that, I could see people kind of having the opinion of Hawaii is like, it's so disconnected from America. Like, why do we even provide protection for them? Like, what do they do for us, type of thing?
Well, what they do for us is they have a ton of sugar there.
And sandals and
established
everything.
The business. We have flip flops, buku flip flops.
I love that word.
Buku. I know. I almost
That's
never hear
so
anyone
good.
say it anymore either.
Yeah.
Buku. Buku flops, baby. No, but yeah, sugar obviously was huge.
I mean, if you've got resources,
And the
we'll
titties
rape
were
them.
huge, and
Like, we'll take those.
yeah.
The only problem with you liking that is that the men there are also very huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were still essentially living the way they lived when they first got there.
Right.
Pretty much. You know what I mean? You would like to think like, oh, we just wanted them to be part of our country because it's so beautiful and we wanted to be a part of their country and share their culture. Nah.
Definitely.
We went there, boots on the ground, stomped their shit, broke
Yeah.
their shit.
Took all their spam.
Took their spam and eggs.
Isn't
Yoko.
major reasons though because of the military placement of like naval stuff?
So this,
Yeah.
so yes, but that is not actually really explained. So that's getting more into like conspiracy territory,
It
because.
doesn't even seem like it would be like that crazy. It's like a port in
But that's the
the
thing.
Pacific Ocean.
Conspiracy doesn't necessarily mean crazy or illogical. It just means like this isn't the mainstream explanation.
Like, no one in the government admitted to being like, well, we wanted Hawaii as an American
Think about
territory
it.
because of the strategic military
it's a perfect
possibilities.
strategic
But I don't know
point.
why that wouldn't. I mean, it seems pretty obvious.
But it was
It didn't
pre.
benefit us to have them in the union, then
Right.
wouldn't do it. So no reason to hide it. It's like,
No, it's like, no, we only wanted your sandalwood and your sugar cane. We didn't want you for military benefit.
No, the
Like,
reason why that they wouldn't want that to be public knowledge is because we were supposed to have not known at all previously to this that we were going to be entering World War II. Like, we were neutral, we were out of the game, we weren't playing, and then
Right.
all of a sudden, boom, we're in it.
I think it's pretty well accepted, though, that we purposely were baiting Japan into
We
attacking
talked about
us.
this before.
Like, there was a lot of shit that we were doing.
But also, in the same lane as to why we would have taken Hawaii when we did, because it was just before the war, right? So it's possible that we already knew we were going to be entering the war,
Yeah.
and that's why we took
Did it
Hawaii.
take place? Like 38 or something? 30 in the 30s?
When we took Hawaii,
Yeah.
I swear I already read it, but I can't remember because I was being
World War
dumb.
II started
But obviously, we didn't enter until
way later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
41, right? Is when Pearl Harbor was. 1941.
Sounds right.
Day will live in.
Might have been-
Remember December 7th, but I don't remember any.
So taking Hawaii was a super smart military strategic move. Or if we already knew we were going to be entering the war. Not saying that's what happened, but that could be seen as
We didn't already have, like, ports and naval ships in
No.
Hawaii before Pearl Harbor? We just, like, stationed them there?
well, Pearl Harbor happened a little while after we took Hawaii,
Right.
but we
Okay.
started setting up shop over there right after.
Interesting.
Like immediately. But then in the same lane of possible conspiracy pertaining to World War II, the Pentagon. I watched a documentary on the Pentagon a few days ago, which was super interesting. The Pentagon was ordered to be built by a major army general, and also was constructed. The construction of it was finished like just before World War II. We entered World War II, just like Pearl Harbor. And
Okay.
it's the first all military intelligence building ever created in the United States is the Pentagon. So really what it was an effort to get all of our military intelligence under one roof so that we
Right.
can communicate faster.
Okay.
Boom, 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 boom. And it happened right before the war, right before it got constructed.
Who works there?
Dude, so check it out. There is like, I want to say it's a crazy number, dude. It's like 25,000 people work there. And that is the size of like a very small city.
Yeah.
And so the Pentagon elects a mayor to be mayor of the Pentagon
What? That's fucking crazy.
because they need someone to handle it like a small city.
My mom lives in Estacada, population 2,500. And so the Pentagon, 2,560 something people in Estacada. So the Pentagon has 10 times that amount of people.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it's shaped, the Pentagon shape.
It's
one of the
obviously a Pentagon.
reasons- One of the reasons, one of the reasons the Pentagon shape is what it is so that anyone at any point in the building can get to another spot in the building at roughly the same amount of time.
Right.
Like if they haul ass, they're just like from point A to point B.
I feel like some Swedish person had to have developed that.
Sounds right.
What about the Pentagon?
Very, very
that
talented architecturally. I know an interesting fact about the Pentagon because it was built before desegregation. They have twice as many bathrooms as they need because they
Yeah.
built white and black bathrooms.
Yeah.
And they don't have any need for twice as
Could
many
you imagine if
bathrooms
the
now.
Pentagon was the one and only place in America still left where it was segregated bathrooms? They're like, look, we built it like this.
This
We're
is
gonna
just
honor
how it
You
is.
can use whatever one you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can use whatever one you want, but I wouldn't do that. They also have a Best Buy inside. They have Subway.
What the?
You know so much about the Pentagon.
They have gymnasiums. They have movie theaters.
I'm not
They
properly
have-
conceptualizing how big the Pentagon
It's
is.
humongous.
That's crazy.
They have. It is essentially a town because
Yeah.
you have like grocery stores, Best Buys, movie theaters, gyms, places to sleep,
Inside of it.
lots of bathrooms,
They should have flown a lot more planes into
ton
that
of
place.
bathrooms.
Way more bathrooms.
Yeah, I mean, no, there's
You can always find a quiet spot to poop.
There are no women's bathrooms though.
Yeah, only black and
Yeah.
white bathrooms.
But yeah, I just thought that was interesting about all that.
It is.
I got an answer to my. Would it make you feel uncomfortable or offended if a white person called you king or queen?
Oh,
I
for real?
posted it on Reddit /r/ask black people.
So this is live.
Yeah. So the first comment says, "Why would you be calling someone king or queen?" My response was, "I say what's up, boss, or sup, chief casually to a lot of people. I like the way king sounds, so I've taken to saying sup, king. I'm not sure if it feels like an exclusive thing to the black community and would sound weird or wrong coming from me. If I said it to a black person, I'm just trying to understand how someone might feel before I go around throwing it around at people I don't know." And they said, "Well, yeah, those first two sure sound fine, but if anyone, not just a white person, came up to me personally and said, 'Hey, queen,' I would probably feel a bit weird at first. But if they're friends, then it's whatever." Another person said, "Personally, I'd rather you just call me by my name." That's from Witch Hunt 666. So
Oh, well, that
I'll just call him Witch Hunt 666.
that name checks out.
And then
You're looking for somebody to.
yeah, right. Next person's name was Brandon is who I am. He said, "Why would it make someone feel uncomfortable? It sounds cool."
There you go. Good
And then
job,
another
Brandon.
person said, "White person here. Is there a reason to do so? Did I miss a memo? I could only see that if I was dealing with my preschool student, and even then." And so I said, "Well, it's just kind of like saying, 'What's up, boss?' to an acquaintance, but saying, 'What's up, king?' instead." And they were like, "I didn't think of it like that, but I don't use a lot of nicknames, so I don't know."
So here's the thing. I mean,
But that's the only responses
just-
I got. I got
That's
a
just a-
response from 2 black people and 1 white person.
that's just a bunch of blurry nonsense.
Yeah,
Essentially, because
but I guess it's kind of one of those things that it's like a black person can't just speak for all black people and be like, "No, it's cool. Call everyone king and
Yeah,
queen.
but-
It's fine." You know, like it's
Yeah,
cool.
but
Like
think
everyone
about it-
loves it.
Think about this. Like back in the 90s, if a white dude called a black dude bro, that was considered considered racist.
Is that weird?
Or-
Because like I call
remember-
everybody bro or bruh.
Remember 90s movies or TV shows that if it was a black guy hanging out with his other black friend and the white guy comes up, oh, hey, bros. And they'd be like, he just call us bro?
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, now everybody just calls everybody
I feel
bro.
like brother though is weirder than bro.
I was just gonna say that. I'm like, every time I see like a white person call a black person brother, I immediately
Yeah.
I'm
I'm immediately
seems
like,
like they're
you're a
trying
little
too hard.
racist, like secretly in your brain, you
They're
know?
trying
Like-
a little too hard.
hide your race.
yeah, right. What's up, brother?
Yeah.
Something super weird.
Yeah.
Unless you're Hulk Hogan, then you get the same treatment.
yeah.
Hey, brother! What's up, brother? brother, brothers, brother. I love him like a brother.
Oh, God.
Yeah, bro doesn't. I call everybody bro, and I've
Yeah.
never gotten a weird response from a black person saying bro or bruh or something like that. But I would never be like, "What's up, my brother?" That just doesn't feel
It
right.
just sounds weird, anyways. But I
Or like, or referring, not saying it to a black person, but saying like the brothers. Like, oh, he's
Yeah.
a brother.
Yes.
Like I work with a dude named Carl, and they're like, oh, what's he like? Oh, he's a brother. You know, like that's just like maybe you're not racist, but you grew up in a small town.
Honestly, though, I'm sure there's a lot of black people that don't like that. But when I hear a white guy refer to black people as brothers, I get a little bit of a chuckle out of it because
it's so
not
weird.
really like it's not really an insult. Like I don't. It's hard to say.
An old person say Orientals.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like
totally,
that. It's
totally.
just like that.
It is.
But-
It's exactly like that. I was gonna say though that Tom, my stepdad, he's Japanese and he says Orientals all the time. It's
Okay.
like his main way of referring
Right.
to anyone of Asian descent. He even says ornamental. He's like he calls them ornamentals, and I'm like, that's
Yeah, you know
so
the people on
weird.
trees.
I'm like, why would you do that?
I had a similar like kind of Reddit interaction. It was on Black people Twitter.
Yeah, I'm subscribed
Black
to it.
people
That's a
Twitter.
weird one.
It is a weird one.
Because they have country club threads where you can't even comment if you haven't been verified to be black by the moderators.
This is fun.
Black people Twitter is like that.
Yeah, on our black people. Not every thread is like that, but if you go to that subreddit and certain threads you can't comment on unless you have a check mark next to your username and the mods have approved. You've sent them a picture of yourself and they've seen that you're black. But that not every
Wow.
thread is like that, but some of them are like that.
But I was gonna say that I had a weird similar interaction where about the term Karen.
Yeah.
Have I talked to you about this?
No, but this is interesting to me because this is one that's coming to like the public forefront.
Yeah.
Like people are starting to talk about it.
I love to read down through the comments. It's like my favorite thing. I guess you
Right.
be a lurker. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Read comments. That's
Right.
One time I commented on it because these people were arguing about. Obviously, it was like a white person and a black person.
Yeah.
And like obviously the white people are, trying to like say why it's offensive to them or whatever. If like I don't know why you'd even be offended.
Right.
I was just basically saying like I just commented. I couldn't help myself because I'm like, okay, so
Say it
the
loud.
reason it bugs me is because not because I'm personally offended by it. It's like the hypocrisy of the double standard. And so like Karen is like a generic white person name, right? That's like the whole shtick, the whole point.
Well, for a specific white person.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
So if like I was basically saying like so if I walked up, made a comment to a black girl and was like, oh, plug in some generic.
Right. Sean Quisha or some
Yeah, something
bullshit
like
like
that.
that. Yeah.
Sean
I was
Quisha.
like, okay, LaQuisha, like,
Right.
calm down. She punched me in my face.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Lights out. Lights out.
And like, so everyone's like, oh, calm down about being mad about the Karen thing. Which, yes, calm the fuck down. What?
Yeah. Who cares?
Who cares? That was just my only point that I was
Yeah.
trying to make. And then people were like, why would you call him LaQuisha? And I'm like, well, why are you calling this random person whose name's not Karen?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean?
You're not wrong. That's the
Your own
thing.
logic.
Is you're not wrong.
Yeah.
That's the the comical, like the dark, twisted, comical part of all of this is like, and I was gonna try to make a comparison to the Legend of Korra again with the equalizers,
Yeah.
like taking away people's bending.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't really make sense, but you can find it there if you look into it. But like all these people that want equality. Obviously, all of the minorities, like gays, different colors of people, blah, 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 they all want to be treated equally, which makes sense and is the right thing to do, and that's what we want. But those people who want those things, who are of those groups, are trying to gain that by doing the exact same thing that was done to them. By saying, no, silence. Silence you who is normal or white or cisgender or a man, and like don't speak about, don't mansplain this, don't whitesplain this, because you're the ones who have it so much easier than the rest of us that we have to make an example out of you by taking away your voice so that we can be heard louder. But in the end, all you're really doing is pissing other people off that in the long run probably want to help you also gain what you want. But the way to go about it, thank you, Seth. The way to go about it, I think, is misguided. You know, like I'm gay, so hear me roar, and you shut up and sit down. I think that is just. I think initially maybe that's what they needed to get our attention, but we've been in it for long enough now to where I think that's not the way we should go about it. Like, everyone gets that things should be equal now, and if you don't, you're gonna die. You're a dying breed if you don't believe that.
Well, Charles Barkley called Shaquille O'Neal a Karen the other night on Sports Center, like a bunch of times. So I was like, okay, so this isn't just like
reevaluate myself.
So apparently the whole Karen thing is just someone who's acting irrationally, like aggressive over something that they don't need to be. You know, like, I want to speak to your manager, but I don't really know why they chose the name Karen as, like,
I think the first lady that popped off was
the lady
Karen.
with, like, the you see the picture of, like, a middle-aged woman with, like, the bob or the A-frame haircut.
Are you talking about an inverted A-line bob?
Yeah, an inverted A-line bob haircut.
Nice.
Like, you know, and, like, it's streaked bleach, you know, and I want to speak to your manager, but why did they settle on Karen and not, like, Stephanie or something?
I think the first video to go viral probably was it was
just a lady named Karen.
And probably because I can't picture a little kid named Karen.
Yeah. Well, dude, Karen is going to be a name that is going to die off.
Yeah,
just like Adolf, dude.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
like a name you want to avoid now.
It's just like the name of Linda is, those people were born 40 working in HR.
Right, yeah.
Like, how many...
If you name your daughter Linda, like, you know she will be a secretary. Like, that is her only lot in life, and she'll have cankles, and that's
She's
it.
spoken to every manager of every establishment and complained.
Listen,
and
Linda.
gotten her way.
Listen, Linda. You don't listen.
But I was ordering sushi in California on my last trip for work.
God, that's such a white privilege thing.
Some ornamental food, huh?
Yeah.
Some ornamental
The place
sushi.
was run entirely by Mexican dudes.
Oh, okay.
That's how you know it's genuine, though.
Yeah, that's how you know it's going to be good.
And there was this lady, and she comes in all huffing and puffing, and she sits down in, like, the waiting area, and then she's, like, waiting for someone to, like, finally pay attention to her, but no one does.
Ugh.
And she's like, "Excuse me, ma'am, like, can I help you?" You know, and she's like, "Why is all your parking blocked?" And you look outside, it's very obvious why the parking is blocked. Because of COVID, they can't have inside seating, so that all the seating is outside in the parking.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're talking about 3 parking spots.
Yeah.
And she parked literally right next to it, so she had to walk like 12 feet into the door. But, like, in my immediate thought was like, okay, calm down, Karen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's hilarious.
That shit worked its way into the
I
public
like it.
conscience so fast.
But
it's
when it
great.
comes to the going back to where we're saying, like, what people are okay with being called, like the king thing and all that, but, like, and your stepdad who is Japanese calling all their Asians Oriental and ornamental. I don't know why he's saying that.
I don't really know why that's.
I think it's just an old guy brain.
Yeah, I think so.
Honestly, like, there's nothing to it except that it's not, like, weird. But
yeah,
I've seen documentaries with Native Americans referring to themselves as Indians. Like, they don't call themselves natives or they call themselves Indians.
Yeah.
But we're not supposed to say that. And I get.
Are we not supposed to say that?
I didn't. I was just watching.
No, not at all. We are not supposed to say
watching that
Indian.
Kevin Costner show, that one that's like brand new, and all the Native Americans call themselves Indian.
Yeah, and also, and I'm one of the people. Say what you
Yeah.
will. Say what you will, but I'm not one of the people who I don't believe. Not believe. That's not the right way to say it. But I don't call black people African Americans.
Yeah.
I just call them black because we're not European Americans. We're just white.
Well, and like Elon Musk
which-
is African American. He's from South Africa, so
yeah,
he's
but if
African
you
American.
called him that, people
I know,
would
but
be
that's
like,
why
"Mer?"
that's why I'm like, so it doesn't. It's not the correct qualifier then
right. But it's
anymore. I feel like
What it is just them going, look, guys, like, we feel bad and you treat us bad. We want you to respect us. In a respectful way to refer to us to make us feel better is calling us African American, which I get. I completely get it. Same with Native Americans. Like, we should uphold their what they want and call them, respectful terms and all that. But if they call themselves something, then I'll call them what they call themselves, because that's what we're trying to do here, right? Is just be equal.
In my mind, yeah, I feel like black is
You're not
just
supposed to say
it's just
Eskimo
the more
anymore.
inclusive term to me, because you can be from the Caribbean islands and be black and not be African American.
Exactly.
So it's like
Yeah.
But that, like we've already said 1,000 times, no one gets to speak for everybody that's
Yes.
black. There are black people that are of African descent and that would prefer to be called African American because they can trace their lineage to Africa.
But I'm
and
saying-
then there's plenty of black people that aren't from Africa in any way and would feel weird about being called African American.
Yeah.
So to me, I think black is just the more universal qualifier. Like,
And let's be honest, guys, we don't have a whole lot of time. Let's just
Yeah.
let's black, white, it's fine.
Yeah.
African American.
you can
well,
call
I've
me
lost
white.
2
Like,
minutes trying to
I'm not
say-
Irish American.
Yeah,
Like, that's-
and another thing is, like, it's not necessarily even accurate technically to refer to all white people as white,
right.
Because
Like, I'm a white.
what even
presenting
is
person.
a white person? Because there's so many different kinds of white people.
Yeah.
Like a Mediterranean person technically is not white. So then what is white?
Right.
Is white only
It's become more of an idea,
Northern
more of a
European
concept than it is
white because they're actually white skinned. You know
Right.
what I mean? An Italian person is not technically white. Even Russian people genetically look a little bit different than your average, like, Scandinavian or German, or, you know what I mean?
Oh, you
Like,
can tell.
Or Italian.
They live on the Asian continent.
Right.
That
yeah,
too.
they're Asian.
We
Like-
would refer to them as Asian if you were going to be technically correct. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, like, I just think the whole war on terminology is such a shifting sands, a constant shifting sands. It's like
It's language.
just a
like
bunch
it's
of
constantly
hoopla.
evolving. Yeah.
it's just like, but I get why it's happening, is what I'm saying, because
You have to have buku back
there it is.
deal with that hoopla.
Yeah, you gotta be.
Isn't
yeah,
that what
you-
Hawaiians call mainlanders? Hooplas? Hula hooplas or something?
Honestly, you could refer to white people as hooplas because they raise a bunch of hoopla.
Yeah.
I bet that would stick.
I
That's
bet
just
it
the hooplas. Doing a hoedown. Don't worry about them.
I know I toot this show's horn a lot, but we do say a lot of stuff on this show. I feel like that could stick or could be a thing.
Yeah. I was trying to make Nilla a thing for a while.
Nilla?
Like
One
calling
thing-
white people my Nilla. Like
Oh,
like
yeah,
vanilla.
'cause it's
like, what's up, my
vanilla-
Nilla?
Yeah, yeah.
But
I like that.
It didn't stick.
No, because it still makes me go.
We all know what you want to say.
Yeah, it's,
Oh, one I forgot. Peckerwood. That's
Is that
white
like for a
person
white
term.
person?
Yeah, Peckerwood.
Really?
I've been called Peckerwood in conversation.
That's just such a great insult.
when I used
the
to work
fuck?
on the farm.
I didn't know that was just for white people.
Yeah, when I used to work on the farm and I was the only white person who worked there, they sometimes they would call me Peckerwood.
Wow, that brings a whole new meaning to that
Yeah.
Afro Man song. When he's
What does he
like,
say?
he's talking about being in jail, and he's like, the Peckerwoods don't want none, but the Mexicans straight on one.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Them essays, Catorces, always trying to test me.
Them Peckerwoods don't want none, but the Mexicans straight on one.
Dude, you got the Afro Man.
I
shit
love
on
Afro
lock.
Man, bro. I'm telling you. I think it's Palmdale is that song. Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, yeah, lots of good names. Lots of good
Peckerwood. I'm gonna use that now.
stuff. Peckerwood.
That is
I don't
great.
even really know what it means, but
First, like, white slur that I've heard that I was just like, yeah, actually, I prefer. I don't like that.
You don't want someone to call you that.
Definitely.
Someone calls you cracker, you're like, eh. They're like, you
You know what-
Peckerwood, you're like, okay,
Peckerwood,
easy.
for some,
Easy,
when
bro.
I hear Peckerwood, I immediately think that's like a nerdy guy with a small dick.
Yeah,
Peckerwood.
totally.
Like
I could see it.
Like you have a little bird's beak for a dick.
Yeah, I just think of
Peckerwood.
someone trying to hump a tree like a woodpecker, but with their dick.
Which has happened.
Yeah, I mean, I've done
In
it
the
once,
past.
twice. I've pecked a wood.
You gotta just choose a real soft spot of the bark and go to town.
Make love to Mother Earth. Make a small hole in the ground, fill it with a little bit of water for lubrication, and go to town.
I put Jennifer on blast on this podcast like every time. I feel so bad about it.
The term gypped all the time, which is
I brought that one up to Jennifer too. She doesn't say it anymore.
because that's a slur for.
Gypsies? Yeah. It's like someone saying I got Jude.
Yeah.
Like no one says that anymore, but people are fine with saying I got gypped.
Well, I'm pretty sure you're not even supposed to say gypsy anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you call them?
I don't know.
Nomads?
Yeah, I guess. Nomads.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
Have you ever encountered a real gypsy in Europe?
Tent pitchers.
Not
maybe.
in. I've never been to Europe.
I mean, like, I don't know if there are any here, but it's
I mean,
Apparently it's a big problem
we
in
used
other
to-
the most
European.
obnoxious thing that you can.
When I worked at D's In and Out, we had groups of people that would come in that we called gypsies, and they'd talk like this. Oh, hey buddy, let me get a large Coke and 3 small cups. And you'd give them a large Coke, and they'd take it to the table and pour it into 3
that's
cups, and then
atrocious.
bring it back. That's what they say. Hey buddy, let me get a. That's how they do it. But I don't know if they were really gypsies or nomads or whatever you want to call
Well, they're
them.
different.
But they would order like a cheeseburger with extra cheese and then a hamburger, and then they would take the extra cheese off the cheeseburger and put it on their other hamburger to try to save the 30 cents or whatever, you know?
Let's
Like
just call 'em,
everything they could do,
cheesers.
like the way they would order was be like try to get something for free. And then they would like pretend like their credit card wasn't working. And they'd be like, "Here's what you need to do. What do you need to do? Here, just call the company, call the card swiper company,
Yeah,
and you need to ask
right.
them. You need to ask them this, and then you need to put in this code." And I'm like, "Why do you know so much about my card swiper machine? Like, I really feel like you're trying to scam me right now."
That's weird.
But I don't know who these people
I
were,
would
but that's what
say-
we called them.
I
We
don't,
called them gypsies.
I don't know enough, but I would say that that's gypsy behavior.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
there's like, I don't even know a whole lot. That'd be an interesting topic to cover, but I don't know a whole lot about gypsy culture,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to use that word anymore, but well,
there's not enough of
it's in
them.
a Disney movie, so I'll just.
Yeah,
Yeah, but they're changing a lot of what they release now.
But do you know which one I'm talking about?
No.
Back of Notre Dame.
Okay, yeah.
It's like
She was hot.
Yeah.
girl is a gypsy.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, in Europe, they're like, they came up and you know how Paige gets. Paige got really mad because this
Yeah.
lady comes up and she just starts shaking a cup in your face, and they're dressed exactly like you picture.
Yeah.
Like a
Wearing,
gypsy?
like
sand
old-
people.
Old like earth tony robes.
Yeah,
They have like the women have like headbands on.
yeah,
Never saw a male gypsy.
right.
But like they just come up, she comes up shaking this can or this cup with change in it in my face, and she won't stop. And I was like, we're not going to give you money, and she just goes like this, like she has a baby, and we're like, we're not going to give you money.
Yeah.
And we start walking. She follows behind us with the cup, shaking it in my ear until Paige
No
plants
way.
Paige just like plants her foot and gets right in her face and goes, "Get the away from us."
Yeah,
And
Dude, I can so see Paige
yeah.
doing that.
And then the girl like
yeah.
puts her head down and walks away and goes to find somebody else.
To shake the cup in
Yeah.
their face.
And it's like their whole thing is just like, I don't care what it takes.
Right.
Yeah.
You get money from these people and then you pull it up for us.
Right. Yeah.
Dude, it's crazy.
I mean, it's respectable in some degree that they go hard like that in the paint in that sort of style. You know what I mean?
I don't know how true it is, but that's what I've heard about the gypsy or the nomadic culture in Europe, is that their whole like ethos is that we are smarter than everyone else, and
Yeah.
so if you can scam them out of their money, if you can trick them, like that should be your goal. Like you should do
That's
your
a
best
win.
to try to separate everyone else that's not a gypsy from their money and bring it back to our culture type
Yeah.
of thing. I don't know how true that is, but that's like what I've heard.
So back to Hawaii.
Any gypsies out there?
I actually didn't know that Hawaii was a monarchy before.
Wasn't Dwayne Johnson's like relatives a king of Hawaii or something?
I don't
Wasn't
know. I
the
would
Rock
believe
the
it,
Rock's
though.
like great grandpa was like the king of Hawaii or
He's
some
got
shit?
royal genetics.
Okay, wait.
Seems like.
So, is there a difference between being Samoan and being Hawaiian? Because I know American Samoa is a real place.
Yeah.
Get a little bit closer.
Oh, sorry.
I don't
yeah,
really
you're
know.
good.
I honestly. But the Rock is from Hawaii, right?
Because I thought he was Samoan, which I didn't know.
He is.
Well, you can be Samoan and from Hawaii.
I that's a good question. I don't know, but I think the blanket term for both is just Polynesian.
Polynesian Islander or Polynesian.
So 1,500 years ago, Polynesians arrived in Hawaii after navigating the ocean using only the stars to guide them. Pretty cool. In 1778, Captain James Cook lands at Waimea Bay on the island of Kauai, becoming the first European.
Is it Kauai?
Kauai. Thank you very much. Thanks, Karen. I'm kidding. The first European to make contact with the Hawaiian Islands. Cook names the archipelago.
Archipelago.
It's not No, you're right. Fucking A. Cook names the archipelago the Sandwich Islands.
Oh.
So
Elegant.
that seems very disrespectful to me. The Sandwich Islands, after the Earl of Sandwich.
Subway sandwiches will drive away your hunger.
I can't imagine a guy's actual name being Sandwich after we know what we
No,
know about sandwiches.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it meant the same thing.
I know. Yeah, no, I did.
I like the word sandwich.
I'm really
I think it's a great
fucking this
word.
up. A year later, Cook is killed at the bay on the island of Hawaii. They're like, you name our shit Sandwich and we murder you. 1819, Liholiho, son of Kamehameha, defies the tradition of men and women eating separately during a feast, which leads to the abolishment of the kapu, which means the taboo system. So this guy was woke. 1850s, with Hawaii's plantation production on the rise, a need for more labor is realized. The first workers are recruited from China. Workers also make their way to the islands from Japan, Korea, the Philippines, and Portugal. Dude, Chinese are all over the Kickstarters
Really?
of land. They were here building the railroads. They were in Hawaii. Obviously, the Great Wall is cool, putting in work.
There are a lot of Chinese people like in South Africa too, which is weird.
1881. So I'll be done with this really soon. Nobody knows. I'd love if someone was like a follower of the show and fact checked all of our stuff.
I know, seriously.
If you
We
wanna
need someone to fact check
If you want
us.
to fact check
We
us,
say some shit on here that
Yeah,
just like
please
off
do,
the
by the
cuff,
way.
dude.
I would
Sometimes
love-
I say things and I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have said that because I don't fucking know if that was true or not.
I
We
mean,
just
look,
roll with it though.
Even if we talk about historical events, we are not the podcast for you to get all
right,
of your facts.
You shouldn't be going to your friends after you listen to this like, hey, did you know the
Yeah.
Rock's grandpa was the king of Hawaii? Like, I'm over here like frantically Googling that like, am I right or I make that shit up in my head?
I mean, I feel like that would be blasted all over everything.
I think so.
And
too.
wasn't that the monarchy in Hawaii had to have been done before the Rock's grandpa?
I mean, maybe not if they just took over. They got taken over from the U.S. in like the 1900s.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
Was born in
my grandpa was born in like 1907 or some
my mom was
shit.
born in 1960 something.
Yeah,
So like,
and she ain't even old yet.
yeah.
Your parents are like 10 years younger than my parents.
Yeah. This is almost done. Sorry, guys.
Just stop
1881,
doing it then.
King Kalakaua
That's fucking The Rock's granddad, isn't it?
becomes the first monarch in history. Becomes the first monarch in history to circumnavigate the globe.
Okay.
So done by a Hawaiian. Cool.
Interesting.
thing.
I thought that was like a completely debated.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Because there's like.
Well, he's the first monarch,
Monarch.
they say.
Oh, like,
Okay,
yeah,
not the
king
first
himself.
person.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying like anyone from a monarchy.
Okay.
Also, I was going to say, if you want to fact check us, write an email to us at ltyfers@gmail.com.
LTYFERS?
Yeah, like fuckers, but
LTYFers. Okay.
at gmail.com. And also, I thought it'd be fun. We have a lot of listeners in Ireland as well, and like France. And if you, I'm sure it's like one person in France that's
Right.
listened to all of our episodes. So if we're referring to that place, it's probably you we're talking about. But write in. I'll read anything that you write
Anything.
for fun.
Yeah.
Like just say whatever you want to say, and I'll read it.
Yeah.
It's
But
kind of fun.
um,
Dude, that's a bold statement.
I'm gonna make a
I'll
fake
do it.
email address and send you some shit.
Joseph Kikukulewababab, inventor of the steel guitar. He later moves to the U.S. mainland to share his music with the rest of the world. Steel guitar becomes incredibly popular with country music and still heard today.
That's cool.
So,
Into the steel guitar, huh?
yeah, he gave us the steel guitar and we fucked it up with country.
Yeah, but then we gave it to God. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Johnny B. Good.
Johnny be good.
What's that guy's name?
Oh, it's Blake.
It's not. It's not Sam Cooke. It's the fucking
As I
yeah.
started speaking, you immediately were like, okay, let me just wait for you to finish.
I was like, he's gonna say some fucked up name that's not the real name.
Besides whatever other directions and tangents we go on, which I hope is very many, because that's what I like the most. But all of the things I have to read are historical.
Okay. I thought we were going to talk about how North Koreans were rounding up dogs and eating them. Is that,
I'll get to that right now. You want to talk about that?
let's talk about that.
So,
That's so fucked up.
North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un has ordered pet dogs to be confiscated in the country's capital, saying the pooches represent Western decadence, but their owners fear that they are really headed for someone's dinner table, which is true. Kim issued the directive in July to round up pets claiming they were part of a tainted trend by Bourgeois.
Bourgeois.
Is that how you say it? Bourgeois? God damn it. Bourgeois ideology.
That's a fucked up word, dude.
I
That
mean,
is
it's-
not your fault.
I honestly don't even know.
That is a look at how that word is spelled. That is ridiculous.
B-O-U.
B-O-U.
No, it's B-O-U-R-G-E-O-U-I-S.
Yeah.
So bourgeois ideology. My bitches are bad and bougie.
Yeah.
Ideology, a source told the English edition of Chosun Ilbo, South Korean newspaper. Anyways, this is where some confiscated North Korean pet dogs end up. Ordinary people raise pigs and livestock on their porches, but high-ranking officials and wealthy people own pet dogs, which stoked some resentment among the lower classes, the source said. Authorities have identified households with pet dogs and are forcing them to give them up.
Doesn't Kim Jong-un have pet dogs, though?
Yeah, because he's a higher class person
He's
now.
a rich guy.
So they're confiscating them and they're putting them in zoos, which makes no sense because who the fuck goes to a zoo and is like, where are the Cocker Spaniels?
I know. I saw there's like a video with the link you sent me of just like fucking hundreds of
Yeah.
dogs in a big
Like,
fucking
what?
mosh pit, just like jumping around.
Dude, he's off his fucking rocker.
Shit is crazy.
We don't know what it's like to be in North Korea either. So.
No, of
No.
course.
But I would assume that some of them like have never even seen a potato chip. Like,
Yeah.
It's definitely a way different cultural thing. Like the way we view our
Canine
pet dogs
crisps.
is way different, I'm sure, than a way that a North Korean might view a pet dog.
But
There's
they
an
also
ideological
they have
difference there.
such a shortage of resources and food that it's 100% that some of them eat dogs.
Yeah,
but because
yeah.
they have to.
Let's
you
hear a
know.
topical freestyle on rounding up dogs,
Okay.
Justin.
We all knew the day was coming. We all knew this.
well, okay, so are they actually eating them?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought you said you were putting them in zoos.
some of them. I think it is pretty common thing though to eat dog meat. Like it's a common dish in North Korea.
Weird.
But just imagine a dude slamming on your door. You open it up and he's like, "Give me your dog."
Yeah,
What
like
the
there's
fuck?
such a disconnect for us and the way that we view our dogs that it's like I can't even put myself in the mind of if someone came to take my dog away. Well, you have to kill me first.
Yeah, I'm not giving.
I would
There's
definitely
not a
put up
chance.
fight.
Like
Yeah.
what the fuck?
But you would surely die.
Yeah,
They would kill you for
yeah,
sure.
100%. I'm about to start taking all your good rhymes away,
I mean, you can take the freestyle if you want.
like killing canines two at a time.
I mean,
It's pretty
Now
good.
I can't say it. So I'll be stealing rhymes. Oh, there it is. Dogs. Canines. Getting grilled. North Korea.
Kim Jong-il.
Kim Jong-un. That was his dad. Pretty rad guy. Getting down. Take my dog, what? No, you don't. Eat a frog, butt. Have my dog go to the zoo. I don't wanna go to the zoo and see my dog as a jigaboo. And don't wanna have you eat him on the grill neither. That shit's too real, Peter Pan. Getting on the pan with some grilling oil. Putting up my pup on your tin foil. Don't do it. I'd rather have a sushi made by a Mexican guy. That's how you know it's true. Why? Because it's 10:30. Get it down now. Getting in the parking lot. Have a round now. Pop it open. Not my dog. I mean a beer. That's queer.
Hey. That's a topical freestyle on eating dogs. I feel like that was better than my first topical freestyle. Next time, if there's a bunch of moments like on the last podcast where someone's speaking and making points and I just keep going, yeah, right, yeah, you need to cut some of those out. Because the last fucking podcast, dude, Chris was like talking for a little while and like making points.
You're just saying that you're
and just
paying
like
attention, though.
over and over, I'm just like, yeah, oh yeah, that's right.
I don't know. That's
Right.
a normal conversation.
I guess, but it's just like after a while, I was like, did Justin like edit a few of those in there? Was I really saying it that many
You know what
times?
I did do though? On the last, you haven't done this before, but on the last one, you said fucking like 1,000,001 times, and I cut as many fuckings as I could.
Really?
out.
There was
And
a
there's
few.
still like
yeah.
1,000. You're
There
like
was some-
fucking.
There were some moments where I was like, he must have cut something right there. Fucking, yeah. Fucking, oh yeah. Fucking, yeah. Fucking, that's right. Fuck, oh yeah.
So yeah, Kim Jong Un wants to eat your dogs, and there's also obviously a situation going on there with COVID.
Oh man, I haven't really even thought about how COVID's affecting them.
But because no one gets in or out
Yeah.
except for trades from other countries where they drop stuff off for them. So, and a lot of their trade comes from China, which is where it originated supposedly. So the fact that they're claiming that there are 0 cases of COVID, because then that would mean they were weak.
Well, is that like Russians claiming that there's no gay people there?
Right.
Pretty
sounds about
Did they
the same.
claim that?
I don't know.
I think like
Totally
there's
would believe that. There are no the gays here.
I think I got that from that new Will Ferrell movie.
Oh
Did you
yeah.
guys watch it?
Yes.
Eurovision.
Yes.
I actually thought that was a pretty charming
Yeah.
movie. That was good.
I liked it.
Other than, I kept wondering the whole time whether or not like real Icelandic people would think their accents are offensive.
Oh, I don't know about offensive, but they're probably just like, that's terrible.
I bet they were just like chill about being represented, to be
Yeah.
honest.
It's
You know what
like
I mean?
doing the Indian accent.
I have a very huge
You do not understand what I'm doing. I'm
Yeah.
running a convenience store because I own a 7-Eleven.
dude.
But like when, like when an
I
Indian,
just literally thought that both of those were very offensive. So that. So I don't know what you're about to say.
I'm not saying it's not, but was it accurate?
I saw
Is what
something
mean.
on Reddit recently where a guy like affected an Indian accent, like just took a really comically bad accent like that. But like Indian people were commenting on it, like it was really good. Like he was right on about culturally that's how we are, but that accent was terrible. So it's like they weren't really offended. They were like, no, that's exactly how we act, but the accent.
I
was
will
awful.
say Will Ferrell's accent was not very good,
No, it's terrible.
but his co-star, the chick from The Notebook, hers
Rachel
was
McAdams
good.
or
Hers
whatever.
was like spot on.
Yeah. I don't think I've heard enough actually Icelandic people talking to know.
Well, the Northman show is
They
a
sound just like that.
yeah.
But those people aren't. Oh, but they're supposed to be Viking. So like,
Yeah.
The thing with the elves on the Eurovision shit, that
Yeah.
was so funny to me.
I thought it was funny how everyone just was like super proud of him and like loved how Pierce Brosnan might be related to every person.
Yeah.
His accent was good too.
Yeah.
I thought Pierce. Well, he's an actual actor, so.
Well, and
Whoa, Will Ferrell's gonna take some fucking offense.
Hey
there.
guys, I practically worship Will Ferrell.
Pierce Brosnan's an actual actor.
Yeah.
Will Ferrell's a clown man.
Well, Will Ferrell has said himself, like, I'm not good enough of an actor to do certain things.
Yeah.
But,
Well, he had that one movie where he's in a serious role. What was that? Everything's for Sale.
oh yeah, I saw that.
That was a
Straight-
decent movie.
Straight Than Fiction is is like a comedy,
Like a
it's
dramedy.
like a sincere drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
That's
very
true.
sincere
And that's a good
comedy.
movie.
I mean,
He's got a good resume.
the reason I say that though is because honestly, everything comes from TV, which sucks. I need to reevaluate my life. But like, have you ever seen Mindy, the Mindy Project?
I've never
seen
watched it, but I know of it.
There's a scene in that where there's a white guy at dinner with a bunch of Indian people, and they all were doing American accents as a joke. And then he comes in and does an Indian accent, and everyone's just like really uncomfortable.
Drops their silverware
And
and
they just like hate it.
Really?
She's just like, you can't do that. That's offensive.
Oh damn, that's too
Yeah.
bad.
Well,
I
that's
think
the way
I find it delightful when other cultures or people try to do an American accent. I love that shit.
yeah.
I think it's great.
I just don't care what people do.
Or like when someone who doesn't speak English, like a Russian person that doesn't speak English, and you're like, try to just like sound like you're speaking English,
Yeah.
and they're just like, oh, yippee-ki-yay, howdy, like type of shit, you know, like that shit is
Howdy.
hilarious
That
to
doesn't
me.
bother me either, but like, okay, so is this on the same? I don't want to go off topic.
Howdy,
You're
bro.
Do you guys know who Jenna Marbles is? Right?
Yeah, yeah.
So she's like, I know all this stuff because Paige is really.
Really into YouTube.
I know
and
who
stuff.
that is. Yeah.
But like, she apparently is like refusing to do YouTube now, and like one of the reasons why is because she gets raged on for insensitive content from when she was way younger, and she's just she gave her whole apology, whatever. But like one of the things that people raged on her for is in her. Have you seen the video "Shake That Dick"?
Yes, yeah.
So she says, "Ching chong, bing bong, show me your ding dong."
Okay.
Hilarious.
And people are like, that's racist, or like that's offensive
She
against.
didn't even do like a Chinese accent.
Yeah.
She said, "Ching chong, bing bong, show me your ding dong." And so, or whatever the lyrics. It's
I
ching
approve.
chong And then ding dong.
Yeah, yeah.
And then her logic for that is not to be offensive to Chinese people.
No, what?
It's because ching chong, bing bong rhymes with ding dong.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like even just her saying like gibberish Chinese in a song like sent people over the edge. So I
how
can't
like
imagine
how many people?
You know what's
though?
peculiar?
to make her quit YouTube, and she has millions and
Millions.
Like 8 people on Twitter said it, and then like 1,500 Twitter bots picked it up,
maybe.
and then a fucking Breitbart News wrote a story
What's
about it.
peculiar about that in that same lane is that happened with her. She's making a song, and she said it because it rhymes. And we condemn her, and she fucking quits her entire career over a silly lyric in a song. But then nobody says a single peep about every single rapper. Rappers are still
they're
allowed to
pretty
say the
racist, dude.
most inappropriate, atrocious, incorrect, socially
Yeah.
incorrect. They're still free reign. Just say whatever, and everyone's just like, "Yeah, I love this."
Just
Honestly, the cringiest thing for me was listening to Iggy Azalea imitate a black person for like a couple years.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, it's not good.
No one said anything about it.
yeah, she's canceled, dude. She's done.
It's just funny how we still allow hip hop to just be like, "Yeah, you're just."
There's
we know
tons
what
of
it
songs
is."
where they're talking about smoking weed and like I got chinky eyes. Like they literally
Yeah.
say chinky eyes.
Yeah,
And that's in the song and everyone's
it's rap.
cool with it. But
It's
it's
like a really bad one too.
that's way worse than Ching Chong Bing Bong.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
it is. A North Korean official who returned from China has reportedly been executed for going to a public bath in violation of his quarantine.
Fucking hell.
While experts expressed doubts about Pyongyang's claim that the Hermit Kingdom doesn't have a single case of coronavirus, the trade official who had been placed in isolation after traveling to China was arrested and immediately shot for risking the spread of the deadly disease in North Korea.
We should do that shit here, bro. What the fuck? You don't wear your mask in the store? Boom, you're gone.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has vowed to rule by military law against anyone who leaves quarantine without permission. Meanwhile, an official at North Korea's National Security Agency was exiled to work on a farm because he hid a recent trip to China. I wonder why they just exiled him instead of shot him.
Yeah, what's up with that? Was he an official?
Yeah, but some South Korean media outlets have reported several coronavirus cases and possible deaths from the illness in the north. North Korean Health Ministry official Song In-bom, which is his name, I'm not being funny, told state media that there are no coronavirus cases in the country, but that they would be prepared in the event of an outbreak. Which is complete bullshit because they have nothing there to help them in that case.
But they are
no
very
resources.
nationalistic. They have speakers outside on big poles in every town, and they would just blare through the speakers, "Stay inside your house," and they all would do it.
Yeah.
That's the difference between there and America. Like, they've got them motherfuckers whipped into shape. And here in America, we can't even tell people, like, wearing a mask and social distancing is the best thing to do without people saying, fuck that, I'm going to go out and cough on strangers.
Did you see the
Like
guy
in
that
North
made
Kor-
a gun, a mask gun?
Oh, God.
It's going like viral on YouTube. A guy made a gun that shoots masks that wraps around your face.
This guy's a
It's pretty
fucking
good.
genius.
Yeah,
What the
it's
fuck?
pretty good.
But in North Korea, if Kim Jong-un pumped through the speakers like, we've had a coronavirus case, like, everyone stay in your house, they'd all just do it.
Yeah,
They'd all be
well, of
like, you're
course.
like, we'll do what you say.
Because if you don't, he'll strap you to an anti-aircraft gun and pull the trigger.
Or take your dog. I mean, one's worse than the other.
Hey,
That's the
babe.
true thing, though. He really did that. He really strapped a guy to a AA gun.
Yeah.
Missile?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
and-
it was a North Korean band of friends who were in a band together, and they just were like, "Hey, let's make a sex tape together. That'd be fun. We're all friends." They made a sex tape. Somehow it got to Kim Jong Un, and he strapped them all to the end of a barrel of an anti-aircraft gun and just disintegrated them.
They have fun in North Korea.
Yeah,
That is fucking
I mean, he's living his best life.
Jennifer and I have been watching Jennifer and I have been
Baby.
watching this show called Crash Landing on You about a South Korean actress who goes paragliding and ends up getting blown off course by a tornado and lands in the bush of North Korea. And this North Korean soldier like decides to help hide her. And it's interesting to watch the way North Korea is depicted in a South Korean like dramedy show. It's weird because you can tell they're trying not to be offensive. They're trying not to depict it unrealistically, but they're also trying to, I guess they're trying to depict it as realistically as possible, as realistically as they can.
without Kim Jong Un like flipping his lid.
Right. But it's a little bit like I could
Because
see
you know,
how
if they trolled him on something, he would just be like, "This is war. We're
Right.
going to war now."
they show like a North Korean soldier up in his like lookout tower watching a South Korean drama TV show on his laptop, and then he gets like punished. Well, he gets murdered by the North Korean government.
Those are the same thing.
Yeah. To them, yeah, the punishment is death. Next topic.
All right. So sadly, we all know that the live-action version of Avatar was coming to Netflix. We've all
Yeah.
been on the edge of our seats for that.
This one for me.
No, I'm legitimately.
We're all
upset
big
about this.
Avatar fans. Wait, upset about what?
So the reason why everyone was pumped about it is because the actual writers from the original Avatar
Yeah.
were making.
Are they not?
They're not a part of it anymore.
Are
They
you
left it.
kid- That bodes very
Yeah.
poorly for how this show is going to turn
So
out.
I guess we'll see.
If they left, then they left because they weren't getting the creative freedom they wanted,
Yeah,
and they
that's
weren't
what I'm
happy with
thinking.
how it was turning out.
Quotes, I guess, were like, "Why are you trying to sex up my children's show?"
God
And-
damn.
They're trying to sex
dude.
it up.
Yeah, and like they're basically. I mean, it's exactly what people do when they screw up an adaptation. Like they're trying to
Yeah.
make it about something else. And
But at the same time, a lot of the
That is really
a lot
disappointing.
of the big fans of that show are our age now.
Yeah.
So they're like, let's put some sex in it.
No, though. But the first one, like, we're all big fans of it still. Like, I still rewatch the original Avatar. Like, it's like, just because we're 30 years old doesn't mean there needs to be sex in it.
Excuse me, everyone. Sex! Now that I have your attention.
Yeah, I definitely don't think it needed to be sexed.
I mean, I wouldn't mind a little full penetration every once in a while,
I mean, if
but
you want to be sexed up, you can just go look up some weird Avatar.
there's
You know there's plenty of that shit out
there's
there.
an
Like,
endless amount of Avatar porn, probably. All right, I got some really cool stories about heroic women from World War II.
let's get it.
And these should all be made into either Netflix or HBO series or a movie because they're fucking awesome stories. So here we go. The Dutch girls that seduced Nazis and then murdered them.
I read about them recently, yeah. Well, I didn't
So,
read about them. I
already
read
pretty,
a headline and then didn't read the article.
Pretty cool so
That's
far.
how we do it.
Well, here we go. Hanny Shaft and Freddie Overstegen used good looks and flirtatious ruses to coax Nazis out of the Dutch bars and to their deaths, at times pulling the triggers themselves. So the main character of this, I believe, is Hanny Shaft.
Henny Shaft will do.
Yeah.
I need a shaft. Henny Shaft
Zinger.
will do.
When she came across a Nazi killing an infant by repeatedly swinging its tiny body against a brick wall,
I wish you didn't say that.
Truus Overstegen didn't flinch. The freckle-faced teenager who was just 3 months shy of her 17th birthday when Germany invaded the Netherlands in May 1940 was a newly minted member of the Dutch resistance. She had been mostly assigned to hide Jewish children, political dissidents, and homosexuals in various safe houses throughout Haarlem, which is in her country, not the New York Harlem.
Holland, right?
I believe so, yes. Her hometown, which was about 12 miles west of Amsterdam.
Is it weird that that place has 3 different names?
That is
Little
weird to
bit.
me.
Well, isn't it Holland and then they call it the Dutch?
The Dutch
and
islands.
the Netherlands, right?
The Netherlands, I thought, referred to like multiple places, but I don't know.
That's what
about
I
much
thought,
about
too.
that.
If you were Dutch, you're from the Netherlands.
I thought all of the, essentially all of the Viking countries were the Netherlands. So like Poland, Scandinavia, Norway, Sweden.
No, the Netherlands is a country.
Oh. Like I said again, guys, this is not a place to get all your facts.
Hey, kids, make your dreams come true.
Be cool. Stay in school.
That's where Amsterdam is. That's where we went.
Yeah.
On our honeymoon.
I didn't know that. I didn't know like I said, I thought it referred to multiple like territories, multiple countries.
Just the Netherlands.
The Netherlands just sounds so fantastical to me. Like it sounds
It does.
like a
It sounds
place.
like a magical place.
Yeah, like where trolls exist.
But if you see
and-
the pictures, yeah, right. You see pictures of all those places, and it looks like a fairy tale.
yeah,
like,
these are the Netherlands.
like these are where unicorns are from.
You've heard of the Nether region. Now come to the Netherlands.
So Truus quietly pointed her gun in the direction of the Nazi and shot him dead. So this guy was smashing a baby against the wall.
Well, she did
and
what
she
needed to
ended
be
up
done.
murking
She
him,
did the right thing.
which is pretty badass already. Like that would, how great of a scene would that be?
I mean, having a 3-month-old baby at home, like, definitely makes stories like that much more jarring.
That's horrible.
Yeah, like turns your stomach. But they were famous for doing that sort of shit. Like that's not the first time I've heard the Nazis murking out babies like that.
Have you guys heard of a movie called Nightingale?
What's that?
It's a movie about the destruction and rape and mistreatment of the Aboriginals in Australia when the British started to colonize it and use it as a penal colony. But like the shittiest washout garbage generals and military personnel, they would station them in Australia. Like it was like, you're too shitty of a general, you're way too crazy, you're way too violent, like we're sending you to Australia. So then these guys would just take out all of their shitty, horrible aggression on the natives in Australia.
Yeah.
And this movie, The Nightingale, is about that. But there's a scene in that movie where an infant is killed in exactly the way you're talking about. And it is so
Dude, what
jarring.
kind of person?
It's so jarring and so
that?
horrible that Jennifer immediately, as it starts happening, just bursts into tears and is like, "Turn it off! I can't watch it." Just like it was, and the way her voice sounded, it was
It was like
you know,
true.
Yeah, it was true. It was that true trauma to where it was like it immediately put my whole body on edge to where I like shut the movie off. Where I was like watching it like this is horrible, but I can handle that type of shit. I'm desensitized to that stuff. But her response to it was so visceral that I was just like, oh my god, I better stop this because it upset her so greatly.
Because once it's in there, it's in there.
But it was
You know what I mean?
it was a horrible thing to see, dude.
Once you've seen it, like even though it's not real, like
Yeah,
Your
like,
brain still, in a way, is like...
I'm like, I can't forget about this.
Like
Yeah.
that's going no. Whether I pause the movie and turn it off now or not, like you've seen it now. Like it ain't going anywhere. But it really upset
Yeah.
both of us. But it's
And then imagine
like,
seeing it in real life.
fucking fuck, dude.
Like that was the thing they did, because when the Jews were going into the camps, coming off the trains, being lined up and everything,
Yeah.
they only had room for so many people. So if you had a baby, an infant, they would just stomp it out right in front of you. And then be like, get in line. And then you're just like, well, my baby was just stomped out in front of me. Now I'm getting in line.
How do you get
And the
human
lines are
beings to
so
that
long.
point?
It literally makes my like fingers go numb and my
Like I want to throw up when I hear that shit.
So yeah, she was not even 17 yet when she shot this Nazi. That wasn't an assignment, she said, but I don't regret it. We were dealing with cancerous tumors in our society that you had to cut out like a surgeon. Truce, her younger sister, Freddie, and law student Hannie Shaft were among a handful of young women who took clandestine roles to destabilize Nazis during the Second World War. While women's resistance work was largely confined to spying, code breaking, and typing, few actively dared to take on the work of the Dutch trio as underground assassins. Although their roles in the underground were at first confined to stealing Dutch identity documents to help persecuted Jews, the girls quickly graduated to more ruthless duties. Freddie, who was just 14 when she began to work for the resistance, was often mistaken for a schoolgirl and was dispatched as a courier delivering important messages during the occupation. But later, all three young women worked to seduce Nazis, applying makeup and bright red lipstick to pick up soldiers at bars and lure them to their deaths. After the war, when the sisters, Truce and Freddie, were asked how many people they gunned down, they refused to give a specific number, which is gangster, because they probably killed a lot of
They're
people.
like, I can't fucking count them.
But imagine these girls are not even 18 years old, and they're just putting on their makeup together,
knowing that they're gonna go
like in their rooms, putting on makeup, and then they're just like, all right, let's go.
let's go
Walk out
fucking
the front
kill some
door,
Nazis.
and they go to a bar where Nazis are getting drunk, and they just like flirt with them, get them stumbling out of the bar, and then just gun to the back of the head.
That's some gangster shit.
Yeah,
for sure.
But how awesome of a series would that be?
That'd be cool.
That's the thing, is like there's so much human history that is so epic and stuff you never even heard about. You know what I mean? That like, how are these sort of stories not being made into movies or...
Oh, sorry, dude.
I was gonna zip tie that down because people they wiggle those a lot. So yeah, that's them, the Dutch teenagers who offed Nazis. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Comment that you made of like, there's so many crazy things that have happened in like U.S. history or in history in general. Like, have you listened to the Dan Carlin podcast? I know you have.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Genghis Khan.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, when Genghis Khan's son, like, something, I can't remember what it was, like, something bad happened to him or whatever, he, like, when he conquered a town, just lined them all up and just, like, beheaded them in front of him.
Yeah, they lined...
All of them, like...
The fuck?
They lined the men up specifically in front of horse carriages, and if they were taller than the horse carriage, they would just cut their heads off, because if they weren't taller, that meant like they were kids or something, you know what I mean? So like, you must be this tall to ride this roller coaster, but that's, if you're tall enough, that's bad, you're gonna die, sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean,
bad example.
That type of thing, like, actually, that's like some Game of Thrones crazy shit.
Dude,
Yeah.
Game of Thrones...
People were just way more cavalier about murder.
Game of Thrones barely holds a candle to actual history.
Right.
Like real fucked up shit.
Well, the book is a little worse.
Okay. But it's based on like actual human actions.
He based a lot of it on actual history.
So another group of badass women during World War II. These are Russian women. Nazi-occupied Soviet Union. German soldiers had a very real fear of witches, namely the night witches. An all-female squadron of bomber pilots who ran thousands of daring bombing raids with little more than wooden planes and the cover of night, and should be as celebrated as their male counterparts.
The Sand Witches.
Oh, yeah. Okay. June of 1941, the Axis powers pushed into Soviet Union using the largest invading force in the history of warfare. The infamous Operation Barbarossa saw about 4 million troops wade into Russia from the west, establishing a line that threatened to overtake Moscow itself. The offensive was one of the most violent and terrible military actions in World War II, with countless atrocities committed against the Russian people. The battle-hardened male soldiers of the Soviet Union held the front lines against the Axis forces, keeping the invasion from overtaking the capital. From the start of the war, Colonel Marina Raskova, a Soviet pilot who was known as the Russian Amelia Earhart, began receiving letters from women across Russia wanting to join the war effort in any way they could. They had to fly Polikorpov Po-2 aircraft, two-seated, open cockpit biplanes that were obsolete even by the standards of the day. So, of course, they gave the women just like
the shittiest
bullshit
garbage,
cardboard box planes.
Go die in this thing.
Made of plywood frames with canvas stretched over them. The craft were light, slow, and provided absolutely no armor. So pretty good. The benefit of the planes was that they had a slower stall speed than the standard German fighters, making them hard to target. And they could take off and land just about anywhere. However, this came as literal cold comfort to the aviators who had to fly the ships through walls of enemy fire in the dead of night, with freezing wind whipping around and through the exposed cockpits, often giving the pilots frostbite.
Damn.
So they're hardcore.
That's fucking crazy.
Imagine being so cold doing something that you can't stop doing, that where your hands...
Frostbite.
It's hard for me to imagine the hardship of people like that, because I've worked a 40-hour week this week with like a sprained ankle, and I can't imagine that anyone has been in more agony than me.
Yeah.
And it's like not even...
Rumors began to spread among the Germans that the Soviets were giving the women pills and treatments that gave them night vision of a cat. So, dumb ideas of World War II.
Probably just the meth they were giving to everyone else.
They have cat eyes.
I mean, everyone was on meth, so...
It's true.
That blows my mind.
It's
yeah,
so crazy.
they were, yeah. I mean, but if you're, like, running into a barrage of bullets flying everywhere, like, I'd be like, yeah, give me all the meth that there is.
I'm sorry. If I ever get fucking called to war, I'm smoking dope through a crack straw.
The whole time.
Like,
the whole time.
Like,
Crystal meth? Okay, meth. All right.
there's no other way to feel like there's not a consequence to your actions.
I knew you was getting high off something.
Anyways, night vision of a cat. One of the most famous of the night witches, Nadezhda Popova, who herself flew 852 missions, which is nuts.
Damn, that is insane.
Earning her multiple medals and the title of Hero of the Soviet Union. The women embrace their identities and are said to have painted their lips with navigational pencils and to have drawn flowers on the side of their aircrafts. By the end of the war, the Night Witches had flown somewhere in the vicinity of 30,000 bombing raids, delivering around 2,300 tons of munitions right to the Nazis.
I know. How is the country not just blown back into the ocean? How's there not just a big crater?
Well, what's fucking crazy is if you watch like documentaries of the real footage and stuff, like those war zone places are completely decimated. It amazes me that they even rebuilt all of that.
Yeah.
Like it's fucking nuts.
And dude, it even blows my mind when have you ever looked up or heard about in like a documentary or anything how strong the atom bomb was, the original one, versus how strong the bomb is we have now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
It's not okay.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like hundreds of times
Yes.
more deadly or more explosive than that.
Someone asked a question on Reddit on our Ask Historians, like, how did we do so many nuclear bomb tests without irradiating a fuck ton of people? And the answer was basically like, we just irradiated a fuck ton of people.
Yeah.
Like, we did these huge nuclear tests out in the desert, but hundreds of miles away, the surrounding towns, their entire families just got cancer at like a 40% higher rate than the rest of the population. We just irradiated a fuck ton of people. We weren't just testing them safely. Maybe we thought we were doing the best we could, but we gave a lot of people a lot of cancer.
And so, dude, like, it's hard for me
Gotta crack some eggs.
perspective. So they said, we were reading about it, like the instant death zone of the original atom bomb, the one that was dropped in Hiroshima, it was like 50 miles or something like that.
Fucking insane, dude.
Like,
The fuck?
That's
Yeah.
near to Salem.
Yeah. That's an
Yeah.
hour and a half drive almost. Like,
Yeah.
What the fuck?
the fuck? Or that big fucking explosion recently in what was it, Beirut?
Yes. Yeah.
Have you guys seen
I
some
don't
of
know
the
what that was
footage?
about,
Some of the
but
footage coming
I've
out
seen
from
the
that?
footage.
It is absolutely terrifying.
It's enormous.
Casey was saying, my brother was saying that you're supposed to turn away and open your mouth. Like, someone that was just like standing there with their mouth closed, their organs might have just got liquefied. Like what the fuck? But if you
Damn.
like the amount of destruction it caused, when you look at the landscape around where that explosion was, it looks like a full square mile of just complete decimation. Like, every building around it is just flattened. Like, there's nothing left.
Funny stuff.
Oh, people are so crazy.
So we just heard about some really badass women from that time era. And this is a magazine, How a Woman Can Get a Man. So,
To leave the bar with her and get
yeah,
shot.
put on red lipstick and load your gun. So, where to find him? Number one, get a dog and walk it.
That's just good advice.
Good advice. It still works to this day.
Yep.
Have your car break down at a strategic place.
What the fuck?
So, yeah.
Like, where?
This is in the U.S.
Yeah. Attend night school. Take courses men like.
What the fuck?
This is predatorial almost.
I mean, it's also really sad.
Look in the census reports for places with the most single men.
Okay, that's just... What the fuck? How nerdy is this lady looking
Read the
for?
obituaries to find eligible widowers.
That's not a real one.
That's a real one?
Yeah.
What?
That one's predatory.
That
all
is, there's
real.
no
This is
other
all
way
true.
about it.
Join a hiking club. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that one and the census one is just like, they're kind of sensible.
Sit on a park bench and feed the pigeons.
Okay. What?
A guy's just like, what are you doing?
Nowadays, if somebody approached a woman that was doing that, the woman would be like, what the f*** are you doing?
Yeah, I'm feeding the pigeons, dude. Okay?
Some guy's just walking through the Central Park. He's like, oh, she wants me to talk to her. That's
Yeah.
why she's here.
Well,
feeding
back
the
then,
pigeons.
yeah, it was strategic.
What the fuck?
Back then, I feel like men could get away with more.
Oh, for
Oh,
sure.
of course.
Get away with whatever they want.
Yeah, you just walk up and say anything you want to a woman.
Ching chong bing bong. Show me your ding dong.
Which, I mean, I bet worked a lot.
Your promotion.
Take a bicycle trip throughout Europe.
How is that? What?
Yeah,
That's
I don't know.
so, like, what?
That's in the same category as feeding pigeons.
Yeah,
Just go,
I mean,
like,
I don't know how they numbered these, but they're all in numerical order.
International trip.
yeah, and ride your bicycle through Europe. This is how you'll meet a man. What the fuck?
Become a nurse or an
Hi-ya.
airline stewardess.
Yeah, get a job,
Yeah.
bitch.
Yeah, get a job. Get off your ass. Be nice to everybody. Be nice to everybody.
Be a good little girl.
Volunteer for jury duty.
No.
I can't even.
Fucking Charles Barkley the other day. He said, you never want to actually go to court because then you're putting yourself at the mercy of 12 people that are too stupid to get out of jury duty. I was like, that is so fucking great. Like, just a quote. Just like,
Oh, here we
always
go.
settle your case.
Oh my God. Get lost at football games.
Okay.
For real.
Like pretend to be lost, or
Yes.
just like just like get
Either
lost
or.
on purpose.
Yeah.
This sounds like a good way to get raped.
Well,
what
probably,
the fuck?
that to them that might have been a job well done, I guess.
God damn it, dude.
Dude, that was...
Get lost at football games.
So what time period is this?
So it's the 50s, so it's just after the war.
It's not long ago enough.
Yeah.
That was like the 20s.
Don't take a job in a company largely run by women.
which was which company in the
Yeah, I don't know.
1950s?
Yeah.
Not a single one.
We make skirts.
Like
.org.
100% run by men.
I don't know.
From Scotland.
Yeah, I mean, even Victoria's Secret was founded by a man.
There
That
weren't
makes
just
sense,
a
though.
majority women-run companies in
Get
the
a job
1950s.
demonstrating fishing tackle.
No, what the fuck?
Oh, man. These are good.
Go to all school reunions. There may be widowers there.
Right.
They're really big on the like, whose wife died.
Right? Seriously?
Don't be afraid to associate with more attractive girls. They may have some leftovers.
This is insane.
They may got some dicks in tinfoil.
What?
Go back to your hometown. The wild kid next door may now be an eligible bachelor.
Yeah, and his name
This
is
is
fucking
rough.
Remus, and he always ate worms. And why would you want him? What the fuck?
Go back to your hometown and maybe give that guy who was a little touched a second
Yeah,
chance.
remember Remus? He's still looking. Head on back home.
Don't be opposed to men that drool.
Is that actually what...
No.
I mean, at this point, what the fuck?
Oh, shit.
It's going to get lost.
I hate to say it, but there are many, many more to go
Go
through.
out into a lake and drown yourself.
Basically, cry help.
Yeah,
Cry for
it's just, and flail your body. Yeah.
Okay, don't room with a girl who is a sad sack
Sure.
and let her pull you down to her level.
Right. No, I mean, that's just, even today, no one wants a girl that's a sad sack. What the fuck is that? Who don't room with a girl that's a sad sack?
Change apartments from
You know
time to
what?
time.
You know what, though? That one's actually not the apartments thing. The other one.
Yeah,
is that.
sad sack.
Because I feel like it's generally good advice to like not associate with like people who are downers.
Like have depression.
Oh, yeah.
They like don't put you in situations to better yourself. So I feel
Sure.
like that-
Associate with winners.
I feel like they meant it more harshly and shallow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you word it a different way, like,
To me, one of the weirdest ones so far is change apartments from time to time. Like, you're just going to
Yeah.
straight up move
Yeah.
apartments because you're not getting dicked down enough. Like,
pack up all your shit and move to a town with more men whose wives have died.
when traveling, stay at small hotels where it's easier to meet strangers.
Yeah, sounds good.
What the fuck? They knew well back then, too, that
Dude,
things were more
A
dangerous. for
straight
you
up
back then.
murderer wrote this article. What the fuck?
Get lost in football.
Yeah. Go out in the woods with no compass.
Okay, so this is a different category. How to let him know you're there.
How to let him know you're there?
Yeah,
Like,
so
how-
like...
I'm into these now.
What does that mean?
No,
How
this
to-
is great.
Like how to get a guy's attention?
Yeah, get his attention.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
here.
one of them.
I have a vagina.
Honestly, the lake thing is not a bad way to do it.
Yeah, seriously.
Wear bright orange hunting outfits.
Yeah,
And
okay.
vests and hats.
Sure.
No, that's not in there. So, how to let them know you're there. Number one, stumble when you walk into a room.
Oh my gosh.
I just want all the ladies listening to this right now.
Dude.
As bad as these are, remember the heroic women that we just mentioned.
My
before this.
my ideal mate is quite clumsy. Like, what the fuck?
It just makes me think of all these, like, the night witches and the Nazi murderers, like, still following this, though. Like, being like, this is good advice.
Right, yeah.
Like, I got frostbite and got a Medal of Honor, but I will stumble into a room.
I've killed 27 Nazis. I don't have a husband, though, so I'm going to go get lost at a football game.
Carry a hat box.
No.
I don't know what that means.
Just walk around with a hat box.
Oh my God. Wear a Band-Aid. People will ask what happened.
What?
Got me actually.
This advice is insane.
Learn several funny stories and learn to tell them well, but make sure you don't tell him more than once.
So this sounds like somebody's guide, like that teacher would teach like an autistic person who have social skills.
Yeah. Just we're starting from zero with you, so like let's go with the easiest thing.
Dropping the handkerchief still works.
Yeah, it always has, always will.
Have your father buy some theater tickets that need to be got rid of.
Just fuck your father. What the fuck does that?
And if that fails, fuck your father.
Yeah.
There's no shame in that.
Wait, read that one again.
Have your father buy some theater tickets that need to be gotten rid of.
So first of all, as a woman, obviously you don't have any of your own money.
You need to have your pa buy them.
So you need to have your dad buy you some movie tickets that you need to get rid of.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Hey,
not a lot of respect.
Hey, mister, I've got some movie tickets.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I'll take them both.
If a girl came up to you today and was like, hey, I have spare tickets. You want to, like, if someone you didn't know at all.
Yeah.
What would your reaction be?
Like, you read the wrong article.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
I don't honestly know, though, because sometimes I feel a little bit jaded. Not jaded, but like biased, because like I've been in a relationship almost my whole adult life.
Yeah.
And so, and like you're married.
I don't know what it's even like.
A 35-year-old man out there, like in the dating pool, I really don't know what that's like.
Right.
And so, like, maybe it is like you're taking weird risks,
You're just
saying some weird shit.
You're a 38-year-old dude walking around football games looking for a lost woman. Like, are you lost because we should get married? What the fuck?
Stand in a corner and cry softly.
Yeah, and then you say what?
Get really good at lying.
Yeah, it's exactly. Memorize a few stories to tell, but don't tell him more than once.
Yeah, because that's how you get two
and
black
get
eyes.
really good at telling those stories. What the fuck?
Softly in the corner.
He'll ask you what's wrong, and you'll say, I don't have any dick in me. And he'll say, I've got dick on me that can go in you.
What a coincidence. I've got a dick.
Yeah.
Verbatim, this is how the conversation should go.
Right, yeah.
It should be common knowledge, but he has a dick and you have a hole.
He puts his dick in your tear ducts.
Make sure you keep your eyelids open when he comes in your eyes. Don't blink. You'll get a black eye. Sorry. Learn how to bake tasty apple pies. Bring one into the office and let the eligible bachelors taste it.
Oh, that is really sexual.
Yeah. I mean, you might as well just start fucking humping the air in front of the eligible bachelor so they can smell
Get
your
him to
badge.
notice you by snail trailing past his cubicle.
Waft your vag into the break room.
Hike up your skirt, pull your panties to the side, and turn the fan on high in his direction.
Scream, hot apple pie.
Don't you think, though, that it's like, it's probably easier now because, like, sexual shaming isn't as much of a thing.
I think it's easier for women now, definitely, than it was back then.
And it's like, you have to, like, attract a man while also
Being really modest.
Some type of modesty.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, nowadays, you can go out.
You can do whatever.
If you want to get fucked, like, that's totally fine.
Right.
Yeah, Tinder.
And it's like you could go out and you don't need to have all these obviously weird ass tricks.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though.
You can just put on some sexy clothes and feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
Fuck if you want to.
Yeah,
So-
seriously.
So on that note, if a woman just approached you and was like, "What that mouth do?" Would a guy just be like, "Ew, gross"?
Right. I don't.
So you have to like do all these weird tricks.
Because men's shamed, like it's something you have to give your husband. Like you have nobody wants a tainted woman. That for sure came from men.
Yeah.
Like that did not come from women. So like
Yeah.
that faux modesty.
Yes. And it's still ingrained slightly. Like there's still remnants of it, but it's obviously it's gotten way because honestly, that just sounds exhausting.
No, that's crazy.
I was never one to just like really put myself out there and be like, "What's
yeah,
up?
it's just
What's
like
up?"
for me is whatever woman or girl showed interest in me. It was like, okay,
Yeah.
you
like,
showed some interest in me. Let's see where this goes.
like it to me, it's super attractive for a girl to just be like, "Hey, you know, how's it going? Like, let's do something sometime." And I'd be like, "Oh, great, she made it really easy for me." Like, not like she's a slut, but just like now I
Yeah.
don't have to be
Right.
nervous about approaching them and being like, "I'm not a rapist. You want to see a movie?"
I've also been in a situation before though where a girl it was so obvious that she really wanted to get with me that it was kind of off-putting
little
to me.
off-putting,
That I was
yeah.
just like, you are so forward about this. It felt like a trick almost. It felt like something wasn't right, you know? You're chasing me so hard and it's so obvious that you want to get with me. I felt weird about it and it never went anywhere. Whereas if she hadn't pursued me so hard, maybe I would have been more interested.
I feel like I've had similar situations before, like you're describing, and then they were off-putting, but I feel like it was for a different reason. That in general, people are attracted to people who are passionate about what they're into personally.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so if like what you are super into is just me, that's like gonna freak me out.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. Yeah.
And so it's like when you see someone who's really into what they're doing and they're very passionate about it, like that's attractive.
Yeah.
I think for men and women.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So when you see someone that's only really passionate about like you, that's like frightening because that makes you feel like you're gonna lose a lot of your freedoms because you have to be everything for this person.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know if that's what you're getting.
No, I'm following you, definitely. And it puts a lot of pressure on you too. It's just like, well, what if I don't live up to this strange
They
perception
they
you
put
seem
on a
to have of
pedestal
me?
almost. Like,
yeah.
It's definitely way better today than it ever has been, I think, because there's so much bullshit.
Do you really think so though? I feel
There
like
was so much bullshit going on.
people struggle nowadays, like with like, I mean, maybe not. There's a lot of avenues to meet people, but it is unrecognizable even from when I used to date.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Like one of our friends, I don't know, can you mention names on here? Is that appropriate?
I don't give a fuck.
But
Yeah, his name's Scott, but he had like a girlfriend for 14 years and then, you know, broke up in his 30s.
Yeah.
that's rough.
Yeah.
Where the fuck do you go from
He had to
there?
learn how to do it.
Yes.
He had to
Yeah.
learn what dating is now.
Yeah.
Seriously.
It's not what it used to be.
Well, with teens, people who are not quote unquote adults yet, like people who are still in high school or whatever, who are trying, or even in college now, you know, there's so much stigma with like the Me Too movement and like what you're actually allowed to do, what's okay, you know what I mean? Like, because even though it's sort of controversial to talk about, but it's so true because like, say if you're on a date with someone and you want to kiss them at the end of the night, being a guy, are you supposed to just like lean in when you think it's the right time and just kiss them out of the blue? Or are you supposed to be like, hey, is it okay if I kiss you? Because
That's
some girls are like, ew, don't ask me if you can kiss me. But then other times, if you do that and you read it wrong and you do that, they're like, you just Me Too'd me.
yeah. I can tell you right now, my wife is one of those people who is completely turned off by like the. Is it okay if I do this? Or
Yeah, because I can definitely see that.
right now? Are you
Yeah.
okay? Like she's not into that. So
It is sort of lame,
oh, it's super,
you know?
It's even gross to me. Like it's she's the type of guy who's not afraid, or the type of girl.
Yeah, you're married to a guy.
No, the type of woman though that's not afraid to say that she likes a masculine man. And I don't think that's bad to have a preference.
Not at all.
People are so afraid to say like, oh, like, I want a masculine man. I want a man, like a man's man or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not the most manly dude on earth, but she's. I feel like there's a stigma about that too. Like, you can't expect a man to be manly. You know, we have to stop doing that to men.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. It's so weird. It's such a weird language.
So, okay. So, yeah, let me rephrase what I said before. So, like, from where we are right now, like, let's just say we were all single, just for the sake of argument. Now, as opposed to when this article came out in the 50s, which time era is better for men and women. I would still say it's better today, but there's so much more. Things were more straightforward and simplistic as far as dating back then because everyone knew what they were going after. You know what I mean? Like the women were just trying to get a husband. Whereas today, it's like women can do anything. So they have career, they have schooling, they're independent, they have their own motives and aspirations. So you being the man, you are no longer their end game. You are just something that if you come along, great.
Yeah, you have to actually have qualities that are...
Yeah, so... But the only thing that... Because back then it's all these tricks. Bake a pie, turn the fan on, waft your vag. and today... Like there was all those tricks back then where it's like let's do all these roundabout tricks to find a man or whatever.
Well, I definitely don't think that it was exclusively women doing hoop jumping.
It was ugly men too.
Well, yeah, for sure. Low socioeconomic men were jumping hoops just the same.
Oh, still, yeah.
You know, I definitely think that it goes both ways because if you're like a not as successful man, you're gonna have a really hard time because of these same types of pressures in that time period.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still weird pressures today, but they're not as crazy.
Yeah, it's just sort of weird. It's almost like a Twilight Zone sort of thing. Like, if you could go back to them back then and be like, look, this is how it is in the year 2020, and you go through all the details of dating etiquette, they'd be like, what?
Now there's not just Tinder, though. Now there's like an actual site that's like, okay, this one's for people that just want to fuck. This one's for people that want something more serious. This one's for people that really want to get married. This one's for only Christians.
FarmersOnly.com.
Right, exactly. Peckerwoodsonly.com.
I remember that commercial, dude.
Right.
FarmersOnly.com.
These city folk just don't understand.
God dang it. It is catchy.
Did you ever hear us talk about the cum sleeve?
No.
No.
So, so the reason why the head of your penis is shaped that way?
Oh, it's to scoop other people.
Scoop out and then so Vince really intelligently was saying like, hey, what if you're not circumcised, you have a big old turtleneck on there. So what if, to help aid your scooping of the jizz, that when you pump in, it folds back, and when you pump out, it folds forward, capturing the semen as a cum sleeve.
Seems logical.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. And may God have mercy on your soul.
Okay, so wait, hold on. One side note, though. It's funny that, so we evolved so much so that like people were fucking so much with each other in so many times that it became evolutionarily advantageous to have a cum scooper on your penis to scoop other people's cum out.
Yeah.
But then we're talking about like people being so modest. Lifetime, one-time mate.
Yeah.
To like.
Right.
Yeah. You know.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's funny thinking about the women being like, what type of pie will I bake today to find a nice man? Whereas the men are all walking around just going like, I literally have a cum shovel in my pants. Like, you really don't have to bake a pie.
I'll shovel it all out of there and I'll replace it with mine. Don't worry about it.
That's what we do here. Vince and I are entering an iHeartRadio contest because their whole thing is like, we're looking for the next underground podcast that we want to sponsor. So we just have a few things. We got to film a video and give them an episode to reference and whatever, and then that's it. But so let's just
turn the camera on.
Do a video. Well, we could end it on that. Come shovel.
I like it.
All right, see you guys
later.